Hi, this is Abby from Witchcraft and Criminal History. How are you doing today? Hopefully you're doing well. This is a continuation for our Jack the Ripper series. Okay, this is part 5. I know this is a bit long, but there's plenty to talk about this case. Okay, in the last past videos we've spoken about the suspects and what 1888 was really like back in London. So now we're talking about the dates of the crimes and what was going on. Okay. Alright, there were 5 victims. There were 5 victims in Jack the Ripper, which has been known as the Chronicle 5. They were Mary Ann Nichols. She was murdered on the 31st of August 1888. The second victim was Annie Chapman on the 8th of September 1888. Then you had the double event, which occurred on the 30th of September. And the first victim of the double event was Elizabeth Stride, or Liz Stride. She was also nicknamed Long Liz. And then followed by Catherine Eddowes. The last known victim of Jack the Ripper was on the 9th of November, and that was Mary Jane Kelly, who was murdered in her home. She was the only one to be murdered in her own home. Okay. With all of these victims, ranging from degrees of depravity in regards to their injuries, all of these victims had their necks severed. Some of them were so badly severed that they were pretty much decapitated. Some of the victims had pieces of their bodies removed, such as uterus, their kidneys, and in the case of Mary Jane Kelly, her heart was removed. They would be found. These organs, apart from Catherine Eddowes, none of these victims their victims were ever recovered. Only a piece of Catherine Eddowes' kidneys was found. Okay. So that's the date of these murders. Alright. Let's go into a little bit more in depth. Alright. Mary Ann Nichols, she was also known as Polly Nichols. She was sent out from a doss house, as I mentioned in the first video. And she was apparently completely intoxicated at the time. And she was looking for a date. Or looking for anything to get her roof over her head. But unfortunately, she came across the wrong person and became the first known victim of Jack the Ripper. With Annie Chapman, she was killed in a backyard. She was killed in the backyard. And I just realised with the information, because I did got some information from a previous video, and I've just realised they actually made a mistake. The one where they had the police beat wasn't the first victim. It wasn't the second victim, it was the first victim. Because the second victim was Annie Chapman. And she was pretty much, she was, murdered in someone's backyard. In someone's private courtyard. People, there was a drunk apparently heard someone bump you run really hard against the fence. They didn't really think too much about it. And just beforehand, somebody apparently went to the toilet, but there was no smell. So, because if you got viscerated like Annie Chapman was, you would have smelled a strong smell like of feces. Because her bowels were completely, torn out. So she got pretty much, destroyed. Well, not completely destroyed. Then you had the double event with Liz Stride and Catherine Eddowes. With Liz Stride, there's also a lot of arguments, because there are some victims of Jack the Ripper, which there is arguments whether they were a victim. With Liz Stride, some say that Liz Stride, when she was murdered, the reason why she only just had a severed neck, some believe the reason for that was that he was disturbed by the cartman putting his cart in for the night with his horse. That's what some people believe, and that spooked him, and he ran off, and because he had so much, anger, hatred, which he had to get out, he ran off for a few blocks away, came across Catherine Eddowes, and, attacked her. And that's the reason why they were called the double event. And people are not quite sure whether Liz Stride was a victim, because she only had her neck cut. She had no damage to her lower body. She had none of that. She just pretty much just had a slit throat. Alright, with Catherine Eddowes, well, she got mutilated. And some of her organs were removed, like her kidneys were removed, her uterus was removed. And even though he took all the organs out, threw it over the shoulder, he also made markings on her face. Like he put cuts over her eyelids, with these underneath her eyebrows as well. Her tip of her nose was completely removed. And also she had cuts around the face. So that's what happened to Catherine Eddowes. And as I said, she was completely eviscerated. She was cut from pretty much from here all the way down to the groin. So she was pretty messed up. And as I said in one of the early videos, then you got Mary Jane Kelly. And she was utterly destroyed. He obliterated this woman. And pretty much with Mary Kelly, he pretty much could do whatever he wanted to her. He could do whatever he felt like. Because he had safety, he had security. Because this wasn't out on the street, this was in her own home. He had time with the victim, so he could do whatever he wanted to do, and he could take his time with it. So he spent a lot of times with Mary Jane Kelly. A lot of time. So we're talking about over a period of hours instead of 9 minutes. And they said that some of the witnesses around Mary Jane Kelly's property heard her scream out murder. But no one really paid attention to it. Which is sad. But that's, with the victims. These are the known Ripper victims. So, that's with the Chronicle 5. Okay. There were other murders as well, which they aren't sure whether they are related to Jack the Ripper. and let's have a look at them. Alright, we're going to do this one about the other suspected victims of Jack the Ripper in the next video. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day, and blessed be